Welcome to Modern Entrepreneur. Today we have Rachel Schnorr, Joseph Hogg, Kristen Mims, Harlan Johnson, Elliott, Mr. Gar. Welcome to Modern Entrepreneur. I'm Landon Ray, and today we have Steve Dixon, who is an award-winning entrepreneur, business owner, public speaker, and author. He has established enterprises throughout the world and believes that innovation and the use of technology are key factors in the success of any modern-day business. Of course they are. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure. Thanks
Awesome.
for having me.
So, as we were just talking about before we started rolling, you had a sportswear business for 14 years.
I did.
That you sold, and now you are, tell us what you're doing now.
Yeah, so basically we run a business education program in Australia, which, we run events every 3 months. We've also got a close mastermind VIP group who we work closely with. We do it a little bit differently though. We don't just give education and sort of leave people to go off and do it by themselves. In our group, we actually give people access to my team in the Philippines. So we've got a big team in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So I help them with the strategy and planning of what we call their big idea.
Yeah.
And then we just delegate it off to the team in the Philippines, and then they bring it to life. Yeah. So
Awesome.
we're really about getting people results.
Yeah, awesome. And is there a particular type of business that you guys work with?
Not particularly.
No, all across the map.
Yeah, I think we attract small businesses though, 0 to 5 employees, all different, range from service businesses to product businesses, it doesn't matter. But what we really try to get people to do is concentrate on building a digital asset because that's where the growth is, that's where the scale is. So if people can concentrate on, what are they delivering, the problem they solve, how can we do that in a scalable way?
And how do you do that if you're a real estate agent or a service provider of really any type?
If you've got, real estate agents generally sort of focus on a key area, but if you get really good at it and you think, well, I've got some knowledge, and you need the track record, you need to have the runs on the board to go, I've got a lot of knowledge that if anybody's starting out in the real estate game, they might want to subscribe to my platform.
I see.
For
so
47
education
bucks.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you found that these sort of like educational platforms based on subscription model are viable.
I think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes time, and if people are in it for the short win, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You've got to build it over a series of years, and you've got to move with the times, like we were saying. With Ontraport, it changes. So we had to spend a whole series of 3 months almost to go back through Ontraport and go through the step-by-step instructions that we've got on our online platform to make sure it was up to date.
Yeah.
So that doesn't run smoothly. Nothing does.
Nothing runs smoothly.
No, it doesn't, does it?
Nope. So 14 years you said in the sportswear.
Sportswear business, yeah. So wholesale, yeah.
Wholesale.
Yeah.
So you're making shirts and
shirts. So we sort of specialised in soccer uniforms.
Soccer
I was a soccer player back in the day.
Oh wow!
And we had our own brand. It was called Number 10 Teamwear. Initially, that was very early, and then we created another brand called AirX Teamwear to compete against each other.
Yeah.
We started a manufacturing facility.
Wow.
In Fiji. So that's I've got my session on this afternoon, so I'll be sharing the journey of how I created that or started that factory in half a day. Which is just it's crazy.
Hard to imagine.
Yeah. It was difficult, but
a difficult half day.
It was a difficult. I didn't really get time to think about it. To be fair, it was game on. It was like bang, bang, bang. What do I need to get done?
Yeah.
And then you sit back at the end of it and you go, holy shit.
Yeah.
But we're we've got momentum now.
Yeah. That's exciting. So, and then you sold that business in 2016. You were just saying that was a tough parting.
Yeah, it was.
Tell me about that. Most of us haven't yet sold a business, but we, many of us imagine that we might someday.
Yeah, and it's the dream, I think. Well, sometimes it's the dream, but I think you need that exit plan or exit strategy. So we got approached sort of mid 2016, sold at the end of 2016, and then like I was just telling you, I think I went. And I use the term loosely because, but I went into a form of depression, I think, where I just sort of went, oh my God, I've just lost my baby.
Yeah.
It was like my firstborn and you go through the cycle of a child, you give birth to it and then you see it go through when it starts to crawl and then it starts to walk and there's a progress and and then you see the teenage years. And it's all your creation, and everything that ever happened in that business was part of me. Every decision we made, good or bad, was basically based on what me or my leadership team decided.
Yeah.
And then when to sell that, It was just like, there was a whole void in my life.
Yeah.
Which I thought before it was sold, I thought this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And for maybe a few days, it was amazing. But then I went, oh my God, it's like the love of my life or this big part of my life is just gone.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out, well, what's next?
Yeah.
And it took time. I never read that in any books, it took me a bit of time to figure out that this is just normal.
Yeah.
Well, everybody deals with it differently, but it hung around for a little while, but then once I found my feet again and concentrate what we're doing now on our online platform, I found that new love again and the new passion. That's what I guess I was looking for, and that's what I look for in business owners, that fire. I want that fire, and I want to see it in your eyes, and I want to hear it when you talk about it. And that's what I was trying to find in me again, was that fire.
And you got excited about the new platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So if you could go back, it sounds like you've had a 20-year career pretty much at this point.
Yep.
And give your younger self a piece of advice to sort of smooth out that road. What would that advice be?
So I wouldn't change much, because every bad decision I've made has given me a tougher exterior. But I think have more balance, because I drove, and I think you need to do that as well. So, in saying that, but I let my health go. So I was at 29 years old or 30 years old, I had high blood pressure, cholesterol issues. I was drinking too much, but I was just driving the business, and everything was about the business. And relationships fail. You just don't look after you, and you think it's all about the business. Well, it's not. You're the driver of the business, so there needs to be a balance. And I guess in my older years now, we've created a format called the Core 4, which I work with my clients. It's about you, your health, your family and relationships, and your business. There needs to be that balance. But in saying that, I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We were talking with somebody else here the other day, and they were talking about this sort of new model of entrepreneurship where it's not really about driving or even really creating an asset that you can sell one day. It's more about like a lifestyle and kind of like enjoying your youth and the 4-hour work week and stuff like that. And what do you think drove you to sort of be so aggressive about building this thing, or do you wish that you might have kind of like related to it in a different way back then?
I was very scared of failure.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that.
It's a driver.
Yeah.
And I, every day you get up and you start running.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was.
That's funny. People ask what motivates me too, and that's exactly my answer. Is like, I'm just terrified. It's going to all fall apart.
Yeah. But it's a good motivator. It's like you've got a fire right on your ass, and if you stop for too long, you're going to get burnt. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, what do you think your unique skill set is?
Sometimes to my detriment, I make stuff happen. If I've got an idea, let's just get it happen. I don't analyse things too much. I think if that's, I think about it a little bit and I go, bang, we're going to do that. And we just make stuff happen. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We move aside and we evolve from that.
Yeah.
But it's just creating, bang, bang. I want it made, I want it done. I think that is one of my unique skill sets. And if I work with analytical people, we've got to dust out the analytical step-by-step process. Because if we go through that, we're never going to get anywhere. Because you will always find reasons not to, if that's what you're looking for.
Right.
Let's just think of the reasons why we should do it. And let's just chase that.
Yeah.
If it comes off, it comes off. It doesn't, it doesn't. But we evolve out of that.
Yeah. And
we create something different and better and new. But don't, you can get caught in a rut of trying to have all your ducks in a row, because it never ever happens for me. I don't believe for anyone.
That everything's all lined up perfect and it's just an obvious decision.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's so easy. I don't believe it exists. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I just don't think it exists.
Yeah, I totally hear you. So tell me what's working right now. So you're right now focused on your training program, this online business building, business training portal rather, and this mastermind group. You're not alone in that industry, obviously. Getting customers or prospects to show up at an event is not easy.
No.
What is working for you to get customers these days?
Well, I guess it's a slow burn. It's just about using all the social vehicles to get out there and show who you are. People say authentic. just be you. I mean, I guess it's another way of saying authentic.
Yeah.
But you try not to be anybody that I'm not. So I'm pretty straightforward, straight to the point, but I care about people.
Yeah.
And I don't hide that. I care about you and your results.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think about what attracts people to me is people who want to get results and people who want to be part of our community. And what I'm trying to do in the online platform is to create that community in an online space, which there are a few challenges around that because we've got people in there from around the world, but we want them to connect because we've got one common vision, which is to grow our businesses, to not only be more profitable, but to maybe have that balance.
Yeah.
And if there's people that aren't attracted to that, then they won't ever come into my sphere of whatever. But if there's people that are, I want to make sure that they know about who we are and what we do, so that they can come into it.
Yeah, I was just thinking as you're talking about this that there's something significantly different about creating a community that's live versus one online.
Yep.
We're here at Ontrapalooza right now, which is the Ontraport Users Conference, and we got several hundred of our customers here. And for me, every year it's this really interesting experience because we have normally an online community, right? And I'm part of the community on a daily basis on Facebook in our group, and everybody is represented basically by a name. I've almost never even clicked to see their picture, right? It's just a name on there. And people, when you're judging by their words that are written, that maybe they wrote a little fast, or maybe they don't speak English perfectly, or maybe they're frustrated in that moment, or maybe who knows what it is. You have a certain subtle judgment about who is this weirdo or whatever, and then they show up in real life, and you're like, oh, this is a completely normal, awesome human being that I'm really excited to know. So I'm just right now feeling like, man, there's quite a gap between the experience of each other in community, especially when we're strangers, online versus live. And how do you imagine sort of really building a community that cares about each other? When we're
I know what you mean.
Through words.
Yeah. So you do a really great job in that community because you're there and you are very, very active in the Ontraport community, which is amazing. So if anybody ever gets in there and writes a comment, you know what? I don't ever think they're thinking about you when they write the comment. They're thinking about your support team. I think if you weren't as active in your community, there'd be a lot more of it.
There'd be a lot more of
I don't know, the feedback where people just write the email, the messages, when they're in that moment of frustration.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I don't see a lot of that in there. I think it is a really good community.
Oh yeah, it is a good community, but it's way better live.
Yeah, it's totally better live.
Way better live.
Yeah.
It's like another whole class. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've travelled from 14 hours away to be here.
Yeah. So how are you going to build something that's that's high quality in
it's something
online?
we will always chase.
Yeah, it's a challenge, huh?
Yeah, it is. It is. And it is something that the more you think about it, the more you will come up with different ways to create that.
Yeah.
I don't have the answers now. All I do is I'll be present in there and try to build something amazing and try to be part of that.
Yeah.
So that people are just
connecting.
Come with it. Yeah. Connect.
So another thing that you just said, kind of like offhand at the beginning, when I asked you what's working, is you said it's a slow burn, and I'm noticing that it feels like that's a theme. I've been doing a bunch of these interviews, and I feel like last year people were saying things like, "Man, there's never been a time in history when you could be successful so quickly."
Right.
And now all of a sudden people are saying it's a battle. It's a slow burn. What do you attribute that to, or what do you mean by that when you say that?
Well, it takes time. If you could take an idea or a concept and turn it into a successful business quickly, and there are people that do it. But if that was common, you'd see more of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've never subscribed to the idea of that happening normally.
So overnight successes.
No.
Yeah.
For me, I haven't seen enough of it to believe that it exists. I mean, you do get the unicorn type things that happen.
Some people win the lottery.
Right, and then they do. They go, which is great. You're in the right place, the right time with the right idea. But no, I think, you know, to build a sustainable business,
Yeah.
you need to build it slowly on a solid foundation to get all your ducks in a row as best you can.
Yeah, it does take time. So what is your sort of cutting edge right now? What are you learning about? What are you excited about kind of tackling next?
What am I tackling next? Well, it was just all about the online platform.
Yeah.
It was just about how can I do it better? How can I connect with more people? How can we serve? Like we said, just chasing that idea of building a community online where you're helping people from all around the world. I mean, for me, business is business, whether you're in the States or Australia or, you know, wherever, Europe, it doesn't matter. Business is business.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at the moment. That's where my headspace is. And, you know, I believe in that concept of committing to excellence. If you focus on something for long enough, things will start to appear. You know, you just keep asking the questions until you get the answers that you want, and you keep driving until you get what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And trying to keep away from the distractions.
So when you think about your career as a whole, like, you know, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, looking back, what do you imagine you'd like your legacy to be?
Well, and I'll talk about Australia in this way, because in Australia we have a real gap with small businesses adopting online technology.
Yeah.
So my legacy in 10 years will be that I drove that forward. I helped more Australian businesses adopt online technology, to know more about Ontraport, to know more about the other tools that can help them become more efficient. Because I still think we're lagging behind, not just the States, we're lagging behind the world with adoption of online technology. So I'm sort of taking that on a little bit as well. We're talking to federal, state governments over back home. We're talking to some of the key stakeholders within Australian business as well, to really find a way to touch our communities within Australia, to help every little small business. We've got 2.3 million small businesses, which isn't a lot.
It's a lot for
a country
of 35 million people or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that?
not even that. I think it was like 26 or 27.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but it's doable, you know, and it's once again, it's a big vision. It's a big idea.
Wow, that's insanity.
Yeah.
10% of the people have a business.
Right. Small business too, not just a business, a small business. Yeah.
Wow.
So we employ, I don't know, we employ a lot of people through small business.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure we're doing it well.
Yeah, amazing. So we've called this thing Modern Entrepreneur. We're trying to figure out, you know, sort of what's unique about this moment in history.
Right.
What's different about being an entrepreneur today than 5 years ago or 10 years ago?
Oh, well, I'd say connectivity, like being connected. And so back when I started the sportswear business, you know, everything was faxes and, you know, it was just difficult. I mean, to communicate with people all around the world was a little bit more complex.
Yeah.
Now we've got tools where we can just, you know, I'm talking to my kids on Messenger last night.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's beautiful. So we're connected.
Yeah.
So you've got to think globally,
Yeah.
where I think 10 years ago you could think, you know, a bit more locally or even nationally. Now we think on a global scale. You've got to have a global solution. So my concept is if you're going to think big.
Yeah.
And that's where I come back to that digital asset all the time. If you're going to go, you might as well go big.
Yeah, I feel you. Awesome. Steve, so good to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Would you mind signing our wall?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Awesome, thanks.
Just a bit of work.